Hello, my name is Miki Markovic. I'm the Global Technical Support Director at Roster Security Product. Thank you for joining me today on the webinar, How to Install AxTraxNG for the First Time, or as I like to call it, AxTraxNG for Beginners. I'm more than welcome to invite you to visit our support center at support.rostersecurity.com. On the support center, you will find our knowledge base that include a glossary, FAQs, and technical notes. I will show it later on today. And let's start with the webinar and a little bit today about us. So Roster is 35 years of experience in the security area. We have in-house R&D teams, and all the design and manufacturing is done in-house, fully owned world-class manufacturing facilities in Shenzhen, China. And our development is based in three major locations in the US, in North America, China, and Israel. Our worldwide presence, so as I say, our headquarters are based in Hong Kong. Our main factory and China sales office is in Shenzhen, China. We have another 3 different sales offices and support in China mainland. We have a full operation for support and sales in India. Israel, we have our operation for Europe and development centers. In Dallas, Texas, we have development. We have our US operation and another 2 locations for sales and support in Colombia and Argentina in South America. Between our partners, you can find mainly OEM partners like Siemens, HID, Honeywell, ADI as a distribution partner, etc. So also have a very strong feeling in providing OEM, ODM solution, as well as supporting our distributors worldwide. So AxTraxNG first time installation and setup, or AxTraxNG for beginners. And today, Jana, we will review the AxTraxNG main features. We will review the installation minimum requirements, where and how to download the latest version of AxTraxNG installation, how to perform an installation on a new machine, how to configure the AxTraxNG for the first time. We will use an AC825 network and the control panel. We will add time zone, access group, and user, and we will do some automation. At the end and in the middle, I will give you the options to ask questions. I prefer if you will use the Q&A option of Zoom webinar. Just type your questions, and following the webinars, I will answer your questions. Let's start with the main features of AxTraxNG. So first of all, we are managing all our access control components from one location. One AxTraxNG client can manage all the components of the access control systems that you need. If we are talking access control panels, users, operators, vehicles, time zones, access rights, and reporting, all done from one location. The AxTraxNG platform is a server client solution. So we have a server running 24/7, always online solution, and clients can be connected up to 40 concurrent clients connection at the same time. Our database is an MS SQL database. We are based on MS SQL Server, supported from MS SQL 2012 until MS SQL 2017. All versions of the SQL Express license, standard license enterprise are supported. Support all the available access control system coming from access controllers coming from us, so AC215, 215 IP, 225, 225 IP, 425, 425 IP, 825, both for the A variant and the B variant of the control panels. Allow setup of codes, activity, time zones, and modes. AxTraxNG providing 3 different levels of anti-passback. So we have reader time anti-passback, just on one reader. Just say the amount of time a user cannot swipe his card again in order to gain access. For example, in a cafeteria application, a user cannot access again for 8 hours. No anti-passback, just the standard password. You have a reader in, a reader out, and you must get out in order to get in again. You must be out in order to get in, and a global anti-passback. Global anti-passback is a bit unique because this is unlike the previous two anti-passback levels. The global anti-passback is a server-based feature. It means that the server need to be online in order to manage the global anti-passback. Global anti-passback, it's an anti-passback between doors. For example, if you have a room that have two different doors, and you would like to make sure that no matter from which door you enter to the room, you must be outside of the room in order to enter again. For this one, we will use the global anti-passback. And this is cross panels, cross door. User rights management, all the user rights management are available. We support up to 1,023 panels, theoretically up to 1,000 doors. We have sites with thousands of doors running around the world, so this can be done. Car parking, area limit management, so we can limit the amount of users allowed to be in a certain area. We call it a car parking manager because this is the source of this feature, but now with the COVID-19, with some regulation required to limit the amount of people allowed to be staying in a certain area, we can use this feature to limit the amount of users allowed to stay in a certain area. Operator auto logout, adjustable, so we can create an operator that will automatically log out if nobody uses the client. Multiple interactive reporting with customized layout. You can issue almost any report you like, and you can change the layout and play with it and sort the data any way you like in order to get the data you want from the database and to research what's happening in the system. Biometric solution management, also Bio 9000 and Bio 9000 solutions. Next week, we will have a webinar dedicated to the biometric solutions. I will be happy if you will join with me on this webinar. Third-party solution integration, mainly video integration like Hikvision and Dawa, can be integrated into the system. We provide a VTAX, the Rosler VMS solution, full integration, and SDK providing for, and we can provide SDK for third-party integration, .NET-based SDKs that can be get any data and send any data to AxTraxNG server. In addition, I want to remind another features that we have. One of them is dual authentication on a reader. It means that a user will need two different authentication methods in order to enter a certain area, and dual users in order to get access. So high secure doors that you will require one, two, or three users in order to gain access, mainly area like safe rooms, server rooms that more than one user is required in order to access. Minimum requirements for the installation, excuse me. So CPU, the processor need to be 2.5 gigahertz, i5 or higher. OS Win 7 or higher, up to Win 7 2019 is supported. We recommend to use Windows 10 and higher. Minimum 4 GB of free memory. And network adapter 100 megabits is the minimum. And hard drive 5 GB of free space as minimum. Again, it's really depend on the size of the system you're going to install. This is for the minimum spec for a small system. Going to a large scale system, you will need to increase the requirement of the server, and of course, SQL will be increased. Also, I recommended to use a clean OS machine. Using a clean OS machine will give you the options to install the AxTraxNG server without any issues during the installation coming from SQL conflicts or other Windows installation conflicts coming from leftovers on the machine. Now we will move to a live demo. I will just switch to a clean OS. I will share a screen of a clean OS. What you can see here is just a remote desktop to freshly new virtual machines that I loaded yesterday evening. And first of all, where do we get the AxTraxNG server latest installation? So just log in to rostersecurity.com, and on the main page, as you can see here, we can see the AxTraxNG software download link. Just click this button and you will get the latest version coming from Rostler. Just click and the AxTraxNG setup will be downloaded. In order to save the time, I already download this file, so let me cancel the download and switch to the folder where I kept it. Double click on the installation file, and if there is any pre-requirements, they will be installed on a new machine. Usually a C++ pre-requirement will be required, and we will go ahead and install the pre-requirement. If not, the AxTraxNG installer will be installed, and the installer menu will be show up. Another things very important to check before starting to the installation is to make sure the Windows is up to date. There is no any update pending for install or for reset, because the installation will fail if an update is pending. As you can see, I just checked it 1 hour ago, so there is no update waiting, and the installation will be safe. Just install the pre-requirement C++. Click next, install, finish. And when it's done, you will see the AxTraxNG installation menu. Click I agree and select the installation component you like to install. By default, AxTraxNG server and AxTraxNG client should be installed on the first machine for the first time. If you just want to install client on a remote machine, just choose the AxTraxNG client. Other options that we have here, AxTraxNG, this is the time and attendance client solution coming from Rostler. License is required. VTrax version, this is the video VMS solution coming from Rostler. License is required. And LPR, this is a software-based LPR connected to VTrax and to AxTraxNG to allow license plate recognition and open doors by license plates, all managed by AxTraxNG. License is requirement. So I will choose server and client and click start. The installation process goes like this. We will install the client. We will install the AxTraxNG configuration tool, SQL server, AxTraxNG server, and AxTraxNG server monitor. This is the installation path. So I will accept the user alignment agreement and click OK. As said, now pre-requirements if needed will be installed, and then we will start client, configuration tool, SQL server, AxTraxNG server, and by the end, server monitor. In addition, all the features I'm going to share today on the webinar are completely free up to $256. There is no licensing requirement up to 256 readers in the system. So installing the client, click next, the client is installed. Finish. Now, AxTraxNG configuration tool will be installed. Configuration tool is installed. SQL installation menu. This is the SQL Server installation menu. Here you can select between install as default, Our default what supply with the installer is SQL Express 2012. We will create an instance called Veritrax, and we'll create a database called AxTraxOne. You can also install as a custom and define the instance name, the database, username, password, etc. Or we can skip the SQL Server installation and just install any SQL server that you like based on the supported SQL models from MS SQL 2012 up to MS SQL 2017. I will go with default because just for the demo, just click go. And the SQL installation will go on. SQL installation can take up to 5 minutes. And during this time, I want to take you to our support portal, just to show you the support portal. So this is the OSO security support portal. You can access the support portal just by support.ososecurity.com, and you will see the support portal. On the support portal, what you can do is just go to the knowledge base, and under the knowledge base, you will see access control glossary, just explanation on component's name in Rostler and understand what each component is doing. FAQs, frequently asked questions. You can browse the frequently asked question and see exactly sometimes what you need. So just a simple one, how to backup and install AxTraxNG database. And technical notes. Technical notes are sometimes information coming from the technical department, requirement to some version or all version. And here you can find this information on the technical note that you can use. You can also search an article just by a name. So I will go to backup. And you can see all the article related to backup. So how to backup and restore AxTraxNG database. And you can see backup database, restore database, and just step-by-step information on how to achieve this. If you didn't find the information you like, you can also, all the contact details are listed here, and you can send email or call our technical support department based on your local area. Let's go back to the installation. See, so SQL installation is still in progress. As I said, this is the heaviest part of the installation. It can take up to 5 minutes. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can type it and I will answer. Yes. I see questions coming from Jean Castenda. Upgrading the latest version to a newest version. Anytime an update is coming and the update is smooth, you just need to install the new version. We recommend to back up the database before doing the upgrade, but you can easily upgrade from any version to any version as long as you're in the scope of AxTraxNG. If you are coming from previous version of AxTrax or Veritrax, on the knowledge base, you will find a quick guides that explain how to do the upgrade from Veritrax or AxTrax 8525 to AxTraxNG. Christopher asks, what are the steps follow enabling the firewall allow on AxTraxNG to communicate with AC825? So just go again to the knowledge base, type firewall, and you will find an article just explain you step by step how to enable the firewall for communicating with the remote client or an AC825. Let's see what the status of the installation. Okay, Microsoft SQL Server Express successfully installed. We will click Done, and AxTraxNG server will be installed. Click Next. Finish. The last component need to be installed is the AxTraxNG server monitor. So now it will run and install the AxTraxNG server monitor. And system installed. Complete system installed. System is already running. So when finished, just close the installation menu, and a little review on the AxTraxNG server monitor. The server monitor is our small tool that's running in the background. It usually gives you information on the system. Normally, we need to see that the server runs as a service. If the server doesn't run as a service, it means there is an issue that we need to find out. Any additional information regarding the system, the network connected or not connected, panels connected, not connected, and any maintenance done between the server and the panels will be show up on the common info screen. Under DP connection, you will have the database name, the server name. If you want to change it, you can change the SQL Server connection from here. Restart server will allow to restart the server service or to clear database. Clear database will delete all the information you have inside the AxTraxNG database. Please don't clear database unless you know what you are doing. Under options, this is the most important part of the option, is the SMTP setting. If you want to get email notification from AxTraxNG server, you need to fill up the SMTP setting here and use SMTP account. Any SMTP account is supported. Email relay, SMTP relay is not supported. Report directory, this is where automatically issued report will be stored. I recommend to use the default folder in order to avoid any permission conflict on the PC. And your static IP no longer is needed. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move to my local PC here and use the system I have here to show you exactly the information. So just give me 1 second. Okay, I hope you all can see the video, and just let me fix the camera angle. What you can see here on my video is an AC825 with a D825 as a piggyback. We have a Rex button. We have an AYK6255. We have an AYH6255BT. We have two Bio 8000 readers, one the indoor model and the outdoor model. This is what we have here on my demo case, and this is the system I will connect. Let me start up the AxTraxNG client. And I will share my screen. The default password is the default password for each operators. Okay, this is the login screen of AxTraxNG. By default, we have 3 default operators in the system. We have administrator, engineer, and security. The default password for each one is the first 5 characters of the operator names in lowercase. Please note that the passwords are encrypted and they are case sensitive. So I will go with admin, and I will share this main screen of AxTraxNG now. Okay, now you can see my complete screen, and we can follow. So this is the main screen of AxTraxNG. On this main screen, what you can see is on the left side, we have the tree view, hierarchic view. This is all the components of the system. On the left side, we can see the table view. Each component contact we will show in the table view. And on the bottom, we will see the events. All the events can be selected, can be sorted by all events online. All events online, you will see the information coming from the system, from the panels, from the biometric readers, from the cameras. Each event will go into all events online, and this will just show you the events from the moment selecting this sorting. Panel AC, this is all the information coming from the access control panels. Coming from the access control panels, it can be access event, can be input event, output events, power events, depend on the model and type you are using. Access events will only sort and show access event like access granted, access denied, access logged, access recorded, and so on. Alarm, you will be able to sort only the alarm and create an alarm handler and handle the alarm from this location. Archive event is using for any camera integration, pop-up record, video record will show up in the archive. System events is internal events coming from the system, either from the operator or for automatic operation done by the AxTraxNG server. As you can see, import configuration and events, something I did earlier on, and you can see the events, the operator is AxTraxNG, this is the server operation. You see also the location is coming from the server. We have biometrics. Biometrics is events coming from the biometric terminals. Also snapshot coming from the Bio 9000 series will be shown on the biometrics. Cameras, events coming from the cameras only when using the VTrax VMS solution. When using the VTrax VMS solution, you will be able to select to see the cameras events like motion detection events. Just for this ease of use, I will use the all events online so we can sort and see the events as they come. Our first step will be to add a control panel to the system. So I will go to networks and I will add a network. Since I will just add the name, descriptions can be whatever you like. Any free text is acceptable up to 60 characters, 60. So I will just call it first floor. The AC type, the access control panel type is AC825. When adding AC825, we need to select if the AC825 is a 1 reader per door or 2 reader per door. 1 reader per door means that each door have 1 reader for one way. 2 reader per door means that each door will have 1 reader for entry, 1 reader for exit. But if you choose 1 reader per door, we can also bypass this limitation and create some doors on the same panel as 1 reader per door and some doors as 2 reader per doors on the same control panel. Hardware version, it's automatic detect. So basically we can select which expansions we have installed on top as a piggyback, but this is automatically detect, and I will not select the D805 that I have here. And you will see that the panel will be added. It will be added with a D805. Now we need to configure the IP address of the panel. So I will just go to configuration. A search command is being sent to the network here. And all available AC825 will be found on the panel, on the network. This is a UDP command. So what you can see, it's done over here. Just want to check something for a second. Just want to see my local IP address. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, just wanted to see I'm on the same perfect. So I'm on the 50 here. So I don't need to change the IP address, but I will change it just for the presentation. So I will just set up a new IP address, give it 80, and I can change the port. We recommend to use any higher port than 45,000. So just for the presentation, I will use 5100 and click apply. What's happened when I click apply is the new configuration is being sent to the AC825 IP setting. A new search will be started, and the panel should be found with the new IP setting. This search command, in order to discover all available devices on network, is 30 seconds. So after 30 seconds, we can see the IP address is updated, the port is updated, and we can see the panel is configured. When the panel is in configured set, it means that the panel knows you need to contact the IP address of the server. So I will click OK. And what we can see the IP address is correct. We can see the MAC address of the panel. This is also, if we have more than one panel in the network, this is the way we identify the panels in the network by the MAC address. Excuse me. The MAC address, as you can see, is on a sticker on top of the panel. Each panel comes with the MAC address sticker on top, so you will not miss the MAC address of the panel you are trying to configure. When you see an AC825, there is a secondary port. Secondary port is always primary port +1. If you're just using a port management on your firewall, this is the port need to be inbounded to the server PC. If you are just allow each inbound communication to AxTraxNG, this is less important. Clicking OK, network will be added. Now what we can see the panel is the network is enabled. We can see it's a first clause. This is the description. You can see the address and the status. So we can see status is okay now, and the connection success. Connection is the connection point to ping success to the panel. So each few seconds we are trying to ping all available network, and we can see how many ping success we have. This is only referred to ping communication. So now we'll do a drill down to the network, and we can see the panel's connection. And if I will go to the type, you can see an AC825 IP plus DE805. Also, if we will look on the events, you can see the final configuration does database configuration and automatically added and downloading the configuration to the panel. The download configuration to the panels is the first time configuration operation, and once the download is complete, we can start working with the panel. The next thing I'm going to do is just name the doors and readers in the system, just to have some kind of sorting and understanding of the system. So just for the readers, I will call it main door. So this will be marketing door. As I said, even though I created this system as a one reader per door, I can set the system that some of the door will be 2 readers per door. So this will be server room in, and this will be server room out, and I will set the direction of this reader as out. In this way, we have 2 readers per door, on the server room. Now we'll go to the doors. And sorry, let's do it again. Now we'll go to the doors and just set the names of the door the same way. So we have main door, marketing door, and server room. In case I want to activate a door anti-passback on the server room, I will go to the panel configuration under the network. On the panels, I will just click the panel line and edit. On the edit line, I will find the anti-passback, and you can see reader 3, reader 4, in and out of the server room. Click OK, and I have anti-passback added. Once we set up all the readers and doors name, we will go and add a time zone. Time zone is using for a lot of properties in the system. One of them is access group. It can also be used for AC link. It can also be used for anti-passback. We can define anti-passback by time. So only on the night anti-passback is needed, but only on the day anti-passback is not needed, etc., etc. So I will go and add the time zone. I will do the ones that I do on every training. It's Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. In order to mark the times, I will just mark one box on the day and right-click create. I will do it for every day I want to add the time zone. So Monday to Friday. Now I need to define 8 to 5. So just mark the box, drag up, drag down, and we have the time. So I will do it for every day. And let's say, for example, on Friday, I need people to be out or will not be able to enter after 4:35 p.m. So right-click, properties, and I will be able to go to a minute review. So 16:35, click OK. And we have Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, but on Friday only by 4:35. Click OK. My next options will add access group. Under group, we will see access group. Just click a new access group and I will call it marketing, just for the hang of it, and click OK. From my point of view, marketing, I need to select which door they can access. So they can access the main door and they can access the marketing door. But only Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. So now I have a time zone telling me that the user can access the main door Monday to Friday 8 to 5, and the marketing door Monday to Friday 8 to 5. Let's say that I don't care if they enter the main door anytime, but the marketing can only be accessed Monday to Friday 8 to 5. So for the what I will do to the main door, just select a different time zone, and always they are allowed to access the main door. But on the marketing door, they're allowed only Monday to Friday 8 to 5. My next stage is, once we have time zones, we have access group, we have access group to each department, to each access group needed in the system, I will go and add users to the system. So my next step is we go to users, department, and I can add department. Just add the marketing department. Adding a marketing department will add marketing to the preview. A department, it's only a way to sort users and to understand which user is on which department. This is only for sorting. There is no logic coming from marketing. Now we'll add a new employee, new user to the system. So I will add the first name. I will add the last name. And I can add a photo. So photo can be added from two different locations. One is can add it from a PC camera. At this moment, my PC camera is occupied by Zoom, so I can open my PC camera. But so I will go to graphic file, click browse under pictures, and use the picture I like to use on any webinar. Clicking OK, the picture was added. What else I have in addition? I can add a middle name. User number, this is automatically allocated from the database. I recommend not to change the user number. This is an internal number, not recommended to play with it. Access group, where this user is allowed to access. At this moment, for this demonstration, I will use the marketing department I created earlier. Car parking group and car plus car group are not part of this webinar. This is not for beginners. Identification is just a general 256 characters field. You can use whatever you like as identification. It can be social security number, national ID number, etc. This is just additional information attached to the user, and it has to be unique. You cannot have users with two identical identification. So it has to be a unique one. Color. If I selected a color of the user, every time this user will show up in the event, it will show in the color selected. Rights, we can have anti-passback immunity to these users, again, coming from time zone. So I can say if this user have a door that have anti-passback, any kind of anti-passback, I can say this user is immune and will not be needed. Extended door open time. If we have users like maintenance, like cleaning, that need more time in order to access the door, we can give them extended door open time, and we'll have this option. Interlock community. Interlock, it's a mentor options that only one door can open at the same time. So if you have interlock set up in the system, interlock immunity will give immunity to this user from interlock. Validity dates. We say this user can access the system following his access group, starting on 12th of May, midnight, or any other dates that you like to use, until, if you want to limit this user by time, you can set the until time for this user. Counter, I will just cover it very briefly. We have an option to set a counter for the user and to set a counter on a reader side. Setting a counter, setting a counter will limit the amount of times a user allowed in the system. For example, a user on fitness centers, swimming pools, that you are buying a car parking application sometime, you are buying a 10 times entry pass. So when you come on the 11th time, you will not be able to access until they increase your counter again. Email notification, if we set up an email notification for access event, every time this user will have an access event, the recipient will get an email notification on this user. I will pass the other information over here, and I will go to the credential tab. Looking at the credential tab, this is where we set up the user credential. Credential can be a card, can be a PIN code, can be a fingerprint, can be a face recognition, can be a license plate, credentials, and any other credentials in the system. When we are using a credential, we can set up to 15 different credentials plus 2 PIN code for each user. So what are the options that we have here? And then we will go how to add the cards and credentials to the user. So first of all, I will look on the options that I have here. Protocol, which protocol the credentials use. It can support between WIGAN 26-bit, WIGAN 32, 32 reverse, 40, 37-bit, go up to 64 bits. This is depend on the reader connected to the WIGAN port of the control panel. The most common today is still WIGAN 26-bit, and this is what I have set up here, so I will keep it at WIGAN 26-bit. Depend on the credential you are using, you will need to add the facility code and card ID. In this case, let me take just a card, and this should be, let me swipe it, and I will see the ID on the event. So I will go to the facility code 178, and the ID is 11111. Credential type, in this case, we can select card, BLE, NFC, UHF, other. This is a card. If you're enrolling from fingerprint, it will be automatically set up as a fingerprint, and on the details, you will see which fingers was enrolled. If you're using a license plate, you will see the license plate details. And if you are using face, you will see the face. At this moment, I will just add a card. Clicking OK, user was added, user was updated, and if I try to swipe my card, I can get access. You can see access granted for my user. The door is open. I can go also the main door, and on the main door, I was access granted, and we can see which credential was used. Just to show you the difference between a credential, I will just use the NFC of my phone, as you can see. Let me add, and I will add a new credential to this user. So my NFC code is 165, and the ID 16719. And I will select an NFC just to know, this is just for my information to know which credential was added. And I will swipe my card again. See something wrong with the BLE. 1 second, let me fix it. Okay, I see an update of my Android system was conflicted with the BLE ID application, so I cannot show you the NFC feature, but this is working, believe me, once the conflict will be fixed. I see we have questions that I will answer it in a few minutes. Let me finish all the options, and I will show exactly what we need, and I will answer all the questions. So under credentials, we can enroll from fingerprint terminal or fingerprint desktop enrollment device. We can enroll a face terminal. This is only for Bio 9000 with the AYB9350. We can enroll from desktop reader, a USB reader that connected. Enroll license plate. This is when using an ink vision camera with a WIGAN, special WIGAN 64 bits. If you're using this camera and you need the firmware for the 64-bit, please contact one of our support representative, and we will provide it for you. Just enter the license plate, so HF675G, for example, and click OK, and we have a license plate added. Or we can add from a list, and we have any available cards in the database. You can select the cards from the database. Other options, PIN code. PIN code, if we have a keypad, a reader that have a keypad, we can add a code. The code can be from 4 to 8 digits. And we can also have it random, just a random PIN code, and duress PIN code. Under duress PIN code, you can have a panic code, and my recommendation always is to have it, if you're using a 4 digits PIN code, use the duress as a 5, and just add 1 or 0 at the beginning or on the end of the PIN code. This way, you will not have any issue people forgetting the duress code. Now, the last thing I want to show you is a little bit of automation. So I will show you how to set up an automatic door opening. So in a lot of cases, there is customers that want to have the main door open on the business hour. Just for example, the main door will be open from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. So the way we are doing it is just going to the panels and adding AC Link. AC Link is our way to do it, some kind of automation, macros, depending on how you want to call it. So I will just add a new automation. My sort type will be output. My output will be the main door, and the events will be automatic operation. Once we selected an automatic operation, you can see this is automatically fill up, and the only thing I need to set up is the time zone. When I set up this time zone, it says when the door will be open. So I will take Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, and click OK. What you can see is that the door was automatically opened now. This is because we are inside the time zone. I will disable the AC Link for a second, and I want to talk about a feature called first person delay. Let's say I want the automatic operation will only start after a first person was entered to the system, is inside, authorized a person. So I will go to the reader, on the reader configuration, on the door configuration, I will mark first person delay on automatic unlock. Once I selected first person delay on automatic unlock, and I will reactivate the AC Link, the door should not be open now. As you can see, the door is not open. I will swap a valid card. As like you can see, access granted, first person enter in a new day, and the door will keep open. So now the door, this is how to activate a first person delay with door automatic operation. Now I've finished the basic configuration of AxTraxNG. I just want to show you a brief on reporting, and then we will go to the Q&A session. So under reporting, just select the report you want to use. So we have 4 different report types that can be issued. We can have immediate report. Immediate report usually refer to reports that you want to see now. Panel report can be as archive report code. This is, we can have attendance reports, panel events report, access event reports, reader reports, bioterminal reports, visitor reports, and attendance that report. This is a license required. This is a special format called DAT, and this report issue every 24 hours with the latest 24 hours access report. This is usually being used, this DAT report, usually used for a payroll system, and it's automatically being loaded each day. On the system report, we have just the general system report, operator reports, operators' activities on the system, and alarm and anti-passback handling. So if somebody did a revoke on the anti-passback, or some operator handled the alarm, we will see exactly what was done in the system. In the active report, we can see all the user access rights. Not responding user, we have user in the system that didn't show up for a while. We can get all the list and disable them one by one. And a list of all the AC links available in the system. Just for the sample, I will just review and see all the AC link exist. As you can see, I have only one AC link available. So we can see the events is automatic operation, the outputs, the main door, and exactly what's happening. I will also issue an immediate report. So I will go who's been today. And this is an immediate report. I can see that Mickey Markovich in the last location is marketing door. Last node position, you can see last node position on the main door. I want to change the layout of the report. I will just drag and I will see the layout per location and not per department. So per location, I will see all the user on this location. So very easy to change location. I can also, on each one, I can add a filter. So we can edit a filter, and this name begins with MA, and I will see all the users start with MA. And we can add and or etc. We can add higher levels of filter, and by the end sort the reports any way we like. Now all the presentation is done, and I'm more than happy to go to the Q&A session. Just hit me with questions and I will answer. I see we have an answer. We have a question here from Jean. We want to hide the card number in the report. Can it done? No. On the report or on the event list. On the report, you can select if you want the credentials to be show up or not. On the event, the card number is there and cannot be removed. I hope this was answered. Please let me know if you have any more questions. You can also try to raise your hand and I will open your microphone. See, I have another. Okay, thanks. I will give you another 2 minutes. I see Gregory's. Gregory, you are allowed to talk. Okay, if anyone else want to raise his hand or ask questions, I'm here. Okay, I have another questions coming from Christopher. What can you look for when a panel pings but did not come online? This is really depend on the panel type. It can be a firewall on the AC825. It can be a baud rate setting, and this is setting on the AC215, 225, 425 panels. So it's really depend on which panel you are using. Phillips asking, server and client can be on the same machine. I'm not understanding the question so clear. So server and client can be on the same machine, but you can also install a remote client, and any remote client can be connected up to 40 concurrent clients. So you can have 40 for all concurrent clients at the same time connected to one AxTraxNG server. Voodoo Patty asks, how do you set up when and to whom an email is sent for access? Okay, so as I said earlier, let me just go back to AxTraxNG window. Under Tools, Options, we have the Email Notification tab. We have Enabled, and then we're just marking the email that we want to use. Just, let's say, sorry. Just add the emails. If you want to add more than one email recipient, just use it and just use comma separated and just add more and more. Which events you want to be sent? So we have access granted, access denied, access granted, access denied, selected users, alarms or panel connection issues, and yes, and again, going back to the server monitor, on the server monitor, you will have to define the SMTP. So on the server monitor, just under options, you need to set your server. I hope this was answered. Which LPRS cameras does the software support? Coming from Gregory Zomba. So again, for Wigan camera, we support, as for today, the Hikvision LPR cameras with Wigan output. We have a special format of Wigan 64-bit that output as I show you. And for VTrax LPR, almost any IP camera can be supported. Of course, that an IP camera suitable for LPR need to be used. Another questions coming from Z. If we want to use third-party system integration, SDK need to support the third-party system. We're providing the SDK. You will need to do the development with the third party. Our SDK give you the benefits to use any features available by the client can be done by the SDK. You will need to do the integration and the development with the third-party solution. Gregory said, if do AxTime can make time and attendance only by license plate? Depend on the license plate solution you're using. If you're using the AxTraxNG with VTrax, the answer is no. If you're using the Wigan interface license plate, the answer is yes, because you can select the readers for the time and attendance support. This is also available on AxTime or on AxTraxNG time and attendance, since you are selecting the readers. So the answer is yes, partially. Jean asked, can we use third-party devices, especially with face detection with temperature modification replacement to RFID proximity card? If the third-party device output weekend, I don't see any reason why not. If it doesn't output weekend, I don't think this can be done. Do we have an automatic emailing of particular reports we set in system particular timing? Yes, the answer is yes. Any report that you issue, you can save a report from the panel reports. So I will just issue an attendance report just for the heck of it. And I will issue the reports. So since I almost doesn't have data in the system, I will have to get data, click the save button, add scheduling, just which file, what is the file name, what is the file type, and to whom do we want to email it. Again, for emails, we must set the SMTP server on the email on the server monitor screen. Okay, so this is the way to schedule a report. So we have a scheduling for report, and we have an email a notification for reports. Okay, I think we have done. Christopher, since you are referring to a specific case, I will recommend that you will contact one of our tech support representative in your area, and we will try to assist you in this case. Last questions coming from Jose. What can we do when multiple users swipe their cards at the same time in terms of opening the door but recording each user? I'm not really understand the questions. I will try to answer. We have no problem to have multiple swiping on the same time. We have do some stress test on the system with multiple users in 1 second between each one of them on multiple doors. It's working. I'm not sure what you like about recording. If you're looking about the data recording for the access event records, this is not a problem. If you're looking for the camera snapshot and such, here it might be an issue because you will get, if there is a mass users on the same doors, turnstiles, etc., you will get a few, you will get all of them together. So I hope this answer. I have a few, I can see I have on the chat 2 different questions, so let me answer. Christopher asked, this was answer. Neil asked, each month can we add all counters for selected user automatically, like door credit? No. A counter have to be set manually. And just a summary. So let's go back to the presentation. We will do a summary. So what we saw today, we saw the AxTraxNG main features. We installed an AxTraxNG on a newly fresh machine. We review all the AxTraxNG features. We configured AxTraxNG for the first time, as I said, AxTraxNG for beginners, and we created AC leaks and reports. Just I want to see if you have any other questions. What information do you need to information need, as I say, from the installation process, just I will, Peter is asking, what information do you need to install just client to point the server? So in order to install a client on a remote PC, you need to install just a client. You need to make sure that the client on the server PC firewall is set up to get inbound communication to AxTraxNG, and select AxTraxNG configuration tool on the remote machine. Go to AxTraxNG configuration tool. Run the configuration tool as administrator. If you don't run it as administrator, you will not be able to save the configuration. Select client from the list. If you're only on a client machine, all the other will be grayed out. On the server services, select the IP address of the remote client, just as a sample, and the port is 1001 by default. Click Save and run the client, and you will be able to connect to a remote server. I hope this is clear. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciated you taking the time and joining me today. I hope to see you next week with our biometric solution webinar. And if you have any questions, go to our support portal. If you don't find your answer over there, just submit a question by one of the emails over there, and we will help you to answer. Thank you very much for your time again. I was Miki Markovic. I'm the Global Technical Support Director at Rossler. Feel free to contact me on any issue. Thank you very much for your time, and goodbye.